Good morning, everyone. I'm Elia Kimukundi, a program manager with Ubuntunet Alliance. My presentation is titled Redefining the RAN Services Landscape, Benefits and Opportunities for the SADC region. I just want to note that Ubuntunet Alliance is the regional network of national research and education networks in Eastern and Southern Africa. And Ubuntunet Alliance is a word that has been coined from a South African word, Ubuntu, which means humanity to others, or what I am because of who we both are. And this is how the word Ubuntu was infused into technology, because we wanted to adopt that spirit of, working together and providing services to humanity so that we can collaborate as researchers and educationists in the region. You can see that we offer a number of services supporting researchers, and specifically, we offer a range of services such as providing high-capacity network, that is connectivity, and value-added services that are meant to augment research and education activities in the region. More importantly, we exist as non-profit organization, and you can see that across Africa, we have got 3 partners. Ourselves, Ubuntunet Alliance, takes care of Eastern and Southern Africa. On top, on the northern part of Africa, we have ASREN, that is Arab States Research and Education Network, and West Africa, we have WACREN. So these 3 partners collaborate together so that we can ensure that we support research and education network activities across the continent. And at a glance, you can see some of our members are spread across Africa or across Eastern and Southern Africa, all the way from Sudan to South Africa. That is Tenet, also our member. We collaborate together as research and education community. And based on this, the formation of NRENs is a continuous process, and we note that even as we have around 26 countries who are forming the geographical space of Ubuntunet Alliance, 16 are full members of the Alliance, and 14 have been connected to the Ubuntunet network. And out of that, we are able to support more than 2,500 institutions which are currently connected to the network. And beyond that, the number of students and staff connected who are able to collaborate and consume the various services we provide is spanning beyond 5 million. Currently, we have got a number of countries that are making considerable effort to join the alliance. For example, we have LESREN, the NREN for Lesotho that was supposed to be formalized in September, but it is still awaiting approval of cabinet paper. We also have ANGOREN for Angola, which is at its very last stage of formation. And some of these are happening because of the regional effort that we get from various bodies such as SADC, SAROA, and so on. And so we believe that the formation of NRENs is a continuous process that will continue bringing researchers and educationists together so that we can continue supporting what we do as a region. On global context, you can see that we don't just exist in isolation, but we also collaborate with other regional research and education networks across the globe. You can see Latin America, you can see Latin America, you can see Internet to Canary, JISC, which is the NREN for UK. So across the globe, we are connected as a community of researchers, and so what we do affects each other, directly or indirectly. And so for us to do and provide the services that we require to share with our communities, we need to exist under a trusted framework. And this trusted framework has been created or brought about because of the connectivity that we have among ourselves as a community. And you can see at the very bottom, we have got our institutions of higher learning and research organizations that aggregate at the end-run level so that each country is able to support the research and education activities that are going on within that particular country. And beyond that, the aggregation now takes place at the regional research and education networks. For example, Ubuntunet Alliance, which is now aggregating the research and collaboration within Eastern and Africa, together with the other regional research and education networks across the globe. And so, as I mentioned, what I do or what you do affects each other directly or indirectly. And that is why when we exist as trusted community of researchers, we believe and trust in what you do and what I do because we exist as a community. So based on that, because of the trust that we have as a community, we are now able to network among ourselves through the infrastructure and even the physical connectivity that we create through collaboration as researchers. And beyond that, we have got the processes, and the programs that enable the community to access a portfolio of services, that are supposed to support what we do as researchers and educationists across the region. And so when it comes to some of the critical services that we provide as a regional network, the overarching service that we provide is the high capacity and resilient network, regional backbone that we provide for our entrance across the region. And it comes in three folds. Number one, it enables the entrance across the region to share traffic or research traffic among themselves through the various points of presence that are established in the region. And again, we also make sure that we deliver the global research traffic that comes from outside Africa to the various points that they are needed within Africa. Beyond that, we also do the reverse, whereby we are able to deliver the research traffic that is generated within Africa to the rest of the world, specifically in Europe, either in Amsterdam or London. So this is one of the key services that we provide. On top of this, we provide EduRoam, which I know resonates well with all of us as researchers, in that, although it is a service that is very familiar for all of us, it is said that EduRoam was discovered in Europe, but it has been innovated exceedingly within Africa. For example, you can see RENU is able to deploy the same technology in a very innovative manner in harsh environments, that is now able to support the research and collaboration even in areas that are not able to sustain the normal infrastructure for collaboration. And even on top of that, this technology now is able to support other areas like rural areas, refugee camps, schools, and even students who are doing the activities off campus. So it is a technology that is now favoring, the research and education activities, in that students and researchers are able to even work beyond their campuses. And even beyond that, for example, in Lusaka, this has been extended even to the shopping malls, so that we are able to provide last mile experience, to researchers and students across the region. In terms of trust and identity, which is also a very critical service offered by the regional RENs, we are able to work with our partners such as Giant to ensure that all the entrants are federated. They are able to provide federations through their member institutions by being able to federate a number of services that are able to support their learning activities. And you can see that we have got a number of partner entrants who are already registered and have got fully fledged federations. On top of this also, you can see that it is a continuous process, and the candidates who are currently being supported to provide the service are Maren, that is Malawi, and Tanet. Fortunately, the two CEOs are represented in this particular meeting. And again, Ubuntunet Alliance provides a regional open science cloud, which is deployed in terms of two nodes. The first node is in Lusaka, that is at the Zambian premises on the UNZA, University of Zambia University, and the other node is deployed in Rwanda. The idea behind this is to ensure that we have got geographical resilience such that all the activities that are performed within this robust infrastructure can be available even in the presence of any disaster. And beyond that, we also have GPU clusters that is supporting the research and education networks, whereby scientists and even researchers can be allocated sandboxes to run their scientific experiments on real time, and these experiments can be shared and backed up on real time. The only use case I wanted to share with the audience in regards to this robust infrastructure is that it is also able to provide, to support some of the entrants, that have suffered from the civil war. For example, you remember the case that is happening in Sudan, the Sudan, whereby even the civil war has interfered with the infrastructure that the NRN is supposed to use to provide services to their institutions. So we are able, currently we are supporting them in terms of providing them with the platform as a service to ensure that they are able to continuously access their services and extend them to their learners or member institutions in real time. Again, in terms of supporting open science, we have a digital archive that is configured on this robust platform, which enables the researchers, to archive their documents in an African-owned manner through the FAIR platform so that they are able to access these particular resources across the network. And as we speak, 1924 documents have been successfully archived and available for access. And this platform was launched in 2023, and it is now available to the community. We also have Utafiti Africa, which is, Utafiti is a Swahili word meaning research, of course, which aggregates all the research opportunities for all the researchers within the community, so that any research, funded research opportunity can be easily accessed through this aggregated database, and it is available to our community. Again, we have got more than 1,400 active users, and subscription to this particular platform has been done by more than 35 countries. In terms of open science, we have also made another big milestone in that we have been able to take the federation technology ahead, and we have been able to, for the first time across the global, we have worked with WHO and our partner Giant in Europe to integrate the research contents, with our entrance through their federations through a single sign-on technology, so that researchers, including librarians, are able to access these learning contents beyond the campus, their campuses. For example, most of the campuses right now can only access some of these resources through VPNs when they are on campus. So through this maiden integration, these services now can be accessed even beyond the campus by the researchers. So far, we have piloted with 4 entrants successfully, and as a result of that, 12 institutions have been successfully onboarded, and their students and researchers are able to access the service. More importantly, we also run a myriad of capacity building activities. The main one, we also run a regional conference. For example, this year we just concluded our 2024 conference, Ubuntunet Connect, which took place in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And we also, beyond that, we run a number of capacity building activities. For example, we train on cybersecurity. We support NRENs to establish their CSATs. We also train on networks, securities, federation operators, and even open SANs. And at exchange program levels, we support NREN technical staff exchanges, and all these are fully funded programs that members are able to participate in. I just wanted to bring the context of the support from the regional bodies, including the AU and REX. And for a very long time, we have been struggling to find space among the regional bodies. Fortunately, in the year 2022, we had got a task force where Ubuntunet Alliance was represented, and we were able to showcase the importance of including research and education network in some of these regional engagements that are happening across Africa. And as a result of that lobbying and advocacy, as we speak, the NREN's mandate has now been included in the digital education strategy of the AU. And based on that, there was a commitment given by the AU that by the year 2027, all African states should have fully or sustainable NRENs put in place. And again, I just want to very quickly scan through some of the areas where we feel we need to get the support from the REX and AU support so that the NREN activities can continue moving on. One of the areas is advocacy in terms of clearly stating and pushing for the role of the NRENs. Because have you understood from my predecessor, he was noting that the role that the NRENs are playing across the region is not well understood. And so it will be important for the regional bodies such as SADC and even the REX to continue giving platforms where this message can be put across in a vivid manner so that the role of the NRENs can be clearly understood and some of the opportunities that are available regionally through the NRENs. And again, the formation of the new NRENs, we know that these bodies encompass, the countries. For example, SADC represents a number of countries. Through those platforms, we can continue pushing, for the role of these NRENs and how the countries that still don't have these NRENs can be supported to have them in place. Very strongly, the cost of internet across the border transmission and even in-country carriage costs for the internet is still a big thing that we feel regionally collaboration can be done so that even the cost can be scaled down dramatically to ensure that the community is able to access this service at affordable price and quality. And more importantly, in terms of resource mobilization, we know that some of these infrastructure and activities require a huge outlay, of capital. And so we believe that as a region, we can still push for support from various funders, even within Africa and without, to ensure that these services are implemented and availed to researchers. Fortunately, for us, we have been co-funded by the European Union through Africa Connect project, where the AC3, Africa Connect 3 has just ended, and we are transitioning to Africa Connect 4, which is supposed to start from January. And beyond that, we also have indirect support that is given to the NRENs through the World Bank, who have been supporting the actual connectivity of the NRENs to the Ubuntunet network. And also, we work very closely with NRF and even Africa Open Science Platform to ensure that open science activities are scaled and implemented regionally. Last but not least, I just want to remind ourselves about this important quote that was made by this African icon, that education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. And so, as a result of this, I just want to reiterate that it is important to invest more in education and encourage one another to coexist as a community who are able to embrace the spirit of togetherness that is embedded in Ubuntu, so that as we work together and continue championing, the cause of education and research across the region, we can be able to drive our community proactively and reactively so that we can attain the goal that we want to attain as a community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Okundi. Are there any questions from the floor? Can you please assist me? Tuso, can you please assist me? Start with Ntu at the back.
It's just 10 afternoon, so afternoon everyone in the room. So my question relates to regulatory framework that governs the collaboration between the NRENs in the SADC region. I suppose my actual question is there a regulatory framework that governs this collaboration? So for instance, in South Africa, we'll have something like the Protection of Private Information Act, which may be a hurdle if we wanted to do a collaboration, say maybe with Dr. Seth's tenet in Tanzania, because of the sensitivity of the information that maybe we want to share amongst one another. So is there a regulatory framework that governs this for the SADC region? And if there is, how much of an influence does Ubuntunet Alliance have on this interstate regulations? Because from one country to another, the regulations and policy framework differs. Thank you.
What I can say is that the existence and the operation of research and education network programs or community leverage so much on the goodwill from the political support that we get from the countries across the region. If we work with the countries very closely through these regional bodies, such as SADC, we'll be able to get that strong voice, that can advocate in terms of setting up the framework and policies that can support how the NRENs operate. And from the Ubuntunet Alliance perspective, we need to ride on the platform that has been created by these regional bodies. But also, on top of that, for us, we can encourage and support, even the exchanges that happen within the community. For example, as I mentioned, we have got the funded projects that bring the communities together through exchange programs, through the capacity building activities that I noted. But we cannot work in isolation, and that is why we are pushing for the collaboration between the research and education communities and the political wing, so that when we join hands together, we can be able to drive this force collectively. On Sunday, we had got a workshop here on CI with the SADC team, and they were in support, of the activity that the research and education networks are doing regionally. So that process has started, and there's a goodwill from them that going forward we'll work hand in hand to ensure that this particular mandate is pushed forward successfully.
Okay, thank you very much. For me, I think on your presentation, I've seen that you said they are partners that you guys are partnering with. As an example, I can give GISC to improve connectivity projects. So just want to get to understand, is there any plan in hands at this moment of time with regards to infrastructure and connectivity challenges that we're experiencing, especially in rural areas, maybe on getting to deploy point of presence in those remote activities? Have you considered something like that? I do have a second question for you.
Yeah, maybe what I can note is that the installation or the operationalization of this activity, these services, for example, connectivity, requires a lot of capital outlay, and also a very serious investment in terms of the expectation that our community requires out of this. For example, we need to ensure that this service reaches the end user in a capacity that is able to support what they do, and also in the correct quality that is supposed to support what they do. So what we do, for example, is to ensure that some of the points of presence that are established across the region are not just established for the sake, but we look at even the geographical mapping of the region so that these points of presence are put in strategic locations that the researchers are able to be supported through the national research and education networks that operate them. But of course, there are a number of challenges that exist in terms of implementing this, and that is why we are still calling for collaboration among the region to ensure that even politically we get that support, and also the funding that we still require from a funder such as EU is availed continuously so that these services can continuously be pushed to the end user successfully.
Are you fine, sir?
Oh yeah, so that I just had a second question, but
Okay.
I think he covered it on the answer. Thank you very much.
Okay. Just a question on my side. Your members, like your Somalia, Rwanda, are they fully operational or is still work in progress?
Yeah, those are fully operational NRENs, and NRENs come in two stages. We have got the NRENs who register as members and are able to participate within the community activities. And we have got the NRENs that have registered as members, but have also gone ahead and joined the Ubuntunet network. That is through the infrastructure. So they're able to process their traffic, but also participate. So we have those who are participating NRENs. For example, Sudan is a participating NREN, but they are yet to establish their network. So NRENs who are participating and the NRENs who are participants and have already joined the Ubuntunet network. So those are full members.
See a question?
Thank you very much.
Question.
Okay, there is another last question.
I saw you mentioned the entrants that are in a foundation phase, that are busy for me. I'm not sure at what stage they are. I just wanted to find out who initiates the formation of those entrants. I know in our country it was initiated by the DSI, but in other countries, who initiates the formation? Is it the government in that country, or does Ubuntunet Alliance have an influence, or do you approach countries as Ubuntunet Alliance to say, this is, you can establish an entrant in your country, or they themselves initiate it from their own countries and then they come to Ubuntunet Alliance and want to collaborate with Ubuntunet Alliance? How does it work?
Yes, the initiation can come from any point. For example, Ubuntunet Alliance has the mandate of pushing for this through the governments to ensure that they buttress the need of having a fully operating entrant within the region. On the other hand, the push can even come from the member institutions, because you know, as a community, we exist beyond the border of a given country. So through this interaction, for example, what we have here, we have got representatives from Lesotho sitting with us here. They are seeing what is happening across the board in terms of research and education. So when they go home, they can even push for this through their ministries to ensure that this traction starts taking place. But from the regional perspective, we work with the governments and the regional bodies that I mentioned so that we can hype the importance of having the research and education activity implemented in those particular countries. For example, as we speak, we joined hands with the government of Angola with the support of Mozambique, because Angola is a Portuguese-speaking country. So through that, we have been able to start what we call feasibility study that is meant to establish the Angoran, which is the NREN for Angola. So collaboration and the initiation can come from any perspective. But the most important thing is how we join hands as a community to ensure that these particular mandates are pushed on successfully.
Maybe I add to others that question. This is the long way of doing the NREN, but the quicker one, like we did. Any organization, you have to have the founding members. So we started with 5 universities. So you engage with the 5 universities, these vice chancellors, then they agreed, okay, we want to form an NREN, and then we come together, we register an organization, that's how we go. It takes a month, 2 months. That's the quicker way.
No, thank you very much, Mr. Okundi. If there are no other questions, colleagues, then we can jump to our last speaker of the session.